I work at EY Canada, so I've come here from Toronto. And I joined the firm about 3 years ago when we began to develop a practice which is doing executive leadership and most significantly, top team coaching at our external clients. And so I lead that practice for the Canadian firm. Incredible. Whenever you do something like this, you never know exactly what to expect. And I feel like I'm someone who has pretty high standards, and they were exceeded in so many ways. I think a couple of things I would say, and at the very, very top, is to spend 2 full days with Ruth and with Melissa is, an opportunity really of a lifetime, and to really be in their space and see them operate, the depth of knowledge, but also both the care and flexibility of delivery in terms of really coaching the room, as well as helping us to absorb the material, was spectacular. We have been using the framework for a few years now, and a plug for the updated framework, which, as I told Ruth when it first got rolled out, I said if I could have had a wish list for everything to be included, it hit every single part of the wish list. So we've been using the framework with clients quite a bit. I think that there's a number of reasons that I like it. The first is, and how I communicate it with clients, is that many very senior leaders are experiencing behaviors on their teams that they're not quite sure how to deal with, and really attached to the people in their organizations and in their teams. And what I love about the framework is the ability to say, hey, maybe it's less about the people and the behaviors and more about the conditions. And why don't we start with understanding whether those conditions are in place appropriately, if any of them could be shorn up, and then what does that do to the dynamic in the team? So that's the approach that we've been taking. What I can layer on now is that leaders really do want certain behaviors sort of addressed and dealt with. And I think that what level 3 brings together for me is the ability to really interweave what we're seeing as behaviors as really being symptomatic still of conditions, but allows us to sort of dance between the kind of emergent behavioral things that are happening in teams and the fundamental conditions that are in place. That for me was really what emerged in level 3, and that I'm so excited to be able to go back and put into practice. It really is exposure to Ruth and Melissa. For me personally, I have a very technical background, so I came to this work, after a long corporate career. I'm an engineer, so the research and evidence-informed nature of the approach really speaks to me. And so to get, to experience those that are actually, done the research and advancing the research is an incredible privilege. And I always feel so comfortable when I communicate with clients, the impact that this can have, because I know it's grounded in that research. So to me, number 1 is that piece. The second piece is as I said, is that it really is a place where you pull together everything you've learned in level 1 and level 2 and the work that we've been doing with teams, and then I feel like advance it so significantly by being able to really work with these sort of behavioral manifestations that are happening. And if I can sneak in a third, and this is, typical, but the fact that I've come to Dublin and done this in a room of colleagues that are much more international than I would normally experience maybe at home in Toronto or in North America, to be able to see how other practitioners are experiencing this and learn a little bit more about their kind of depth of experience. We had so much wisdom in the room. That's probably the third.